Hello, family, and welcome to Y'all's Word. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit the notification bell to know when a new video has been uploaded. Today's topic, unity. Yes, we must talk about it because as a people, we're not as unified as we ought to be. Matter of fact, we're going to go over the definition right now. What is unity? The dictionary has it, the state of being one or oneness, a whole or totality, as combining all its parts into one. The state or fact of being united or combined into one, as of the parts of a whole, unification. Absence of diversity, unvaried, or ununiform character. Oneness of mind, feeling, etc. As among a number of persons, concord, harmony, or agreement. Now, when I look into the Sefer, or my version of the Bible, because mine's a little different, a lot different, okay? It says in Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them." 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. "But he that is joined unto Yahuwah is Yakad." John chapter 10, verse 30. "I and my Father are Yakad." John chapter 17, verse 11. "And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to you. Holy Father, guard them by your name, the same name which Ataliah you have given me, that they may be Yakad as we are." You go to John chapter 17, verse 21 and 22, you get, "That they all may be Yakad, as you, Father, are in me, and I in you, that they also may be Yakad in us, that the world may believe that you have sent me, and the glory which you gave me I have given them, that they may be Yakad, even as we are Yakad." Now, Yakad means unity, which is one with Yahuwah, our Father, and with the brethren, which is us as a people, and unity of Ruach, which is spirit. We are supposed to be as a unified people. Now, here I brought some pictures of us, our ancestors. They are not exactly like this, but you know what I have is we are the people of the Bible. These are our ancestors. And you want to know how do you know? These are some of the verses in Scripture which has them when they telling in the Scripture that they are black. There's a reason. The Father wanted us to know, so we don't feel so lost as we once were, or some of you still are. Now, you can see for yourself that they are black men, as we have some black women. Here's our people of today. See, we diversify. Even albino, you can't tell me that's not a black person. He looked too much like a black person, mainly in the features. But because his color is not as dark as the others, don't make him any less black. And as you see, we are from all over the 4 corners of the world. So all of us are one big family. It's a shame we're not as happy as we ought to be. Now, as you see in these pictures, it says here, one picture says, "When my brother falls, I will pick him up without hesitation. We make it together or we don't make it at all." See, we say we want this, but what are we doing to get there? We say we want to be together in love, whether we grow old together or we are young couples starting out, or we brothers going through something together, or we're unified in prayer. But we don't do that as often as we should be. Why? Let's look at our ancestors. Our ancestors did some things. Okay, we're going to get into it. The reason why I said look at our ancestors because we are repeating some of their mistakes that can lead to our own downfall and demise. We are people that Yahuwah, our Elohim, inherit, loved, and protected. But what do? Just like our ancestors, we throw all that away. We throw it in his face like it means nothing. But when we get in trouble, we want to cry, cry, cry. The Father said we're supposed to remain together. Okay, let's read some scriptures here. Now, as you see, as Ananiah Yahusha, that's the son of Mashiach, he prophesied of the fall of Jerusalem in Luke chapter 19, verse 41 to 44. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if you had known, even you, at least in this your day, the things which belong unto your peace, but now they are hid from your eyes. For the days shall come upon you, that your enemies shall cast a trench about you, compass you about, and keep you in on every side, and shall lay you even with ground, and your children within you, and they shall not leave you one stone upon another, because you knew not the time of your visitations. And he was right. He said we were going to be so busy, not even realize how much peace we had, everything we had right in our reach. We're going to be so busy at each other that we're not even going to see the enemy when enemy's coming. And that's exactly what happened. That's what happened to the fall of Jerusalem. Not just Yehuda, Jerusalem too. There was 3 reasons for the war against the Romans. The first one, Romans hired a high priest over Jerusalem. What do we need a high priest for? We don't need that high priest. They don't believe what we believe. We already had ours. We had the Levites, and that's all we needed. The Levites were always our priests since the times of Moshe. Next, the Roman Emperor Caligula thinks he's God. He sure enough did. He thought he was God by having a proclamation sent out for a statue of a Roman emperor, starting with himself, to be built within the temple walls of Jerusalem. Now, you know, our Father said no idolatry. But like I said, they don't believe what we believe. He think he's God. He said put the statue in the temple walls. We trying to keep it sanctified, okay? And they didn't care. The next one. The Syrians and our people from Jerusalem fought over Caesarea. I was trying to make sure I get these whole cities pronounced right. On whose city it belongs. So when Syria said it belongs to them, Jerusalem said it belongs to them, they couldn't figure out how to, squash the situation. So when they took the situation, they brought it to Rome through the Roman emperor, which was Neo at the time. But guess what he did? He sided with the Syrians. So it was almost like that whole area didn't even belong to Jerusalem at all. And let me tell you, he took it a step further. He told Roman Emperor Nero sent Vespasian to go and destroy Jerusalem. Now, while that was going on, then this other king called King king of Asher, came up against all the fenced cities of Yehuda and took them. You go ahead and read 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 13. Now, while all that's going on now, Yehuda's taken over. Here goes Vespasian. He went to Jerusalem by the way of Galilee. Galilean. Now, guy called Sophicius, I gotta say these names right, the priest, the governor, and historian, was captured right there in Galilee. Now, while they taking him on, here go 3 factions. John, who was a head zealot, trapped in the middle of Jerusalem. Simeon, a bandit character, possessed the city of Jerusalem. And Eleazar, a former zealot commander, possessed the temple. And what they was doing? Fighting up against each other. That's straight up civil war. Now, even though Vespasian was there as the commander, his son was also there. And they also had Josephus as a prisoner. So now Titus says, like I say his name, Vespasian's son took command because Vespasian was promoted and had to go back to Rome. So all that was going on. These three groups were fighting against each other so much that they didn't even care that the people were coming from all around the world for Passover. Here's a holy time, and they fighting. Not only did they not care or even realize it, but the hedge of protection that was there over Jerusalem had left. They didn't even realize the hedge of protection that the Most High had over Jerusalem was gone. So when the Yasharali didn't even see the enemy coming until the enemy was upon them. Now Yasharali stopped their civil war long enough to fight the Romans to the point the Romans had to retreat. But they did that to allow the Yasharali civil war to continue so they can kill each other or kill themselves by way of fighting and starvation by burning and hiding the provisions. They were starving each other out. In the meantime, to strengthen and change tactics while allowing Josephus, or should say Yosef ben Mattiyahu, that's his name too, to talk to the people and say surrender peacefully. But Yasharali said, nope, they refused, so the war continues. In the beginning of the fighting, Titus continued to plead. He pleaded with Yasharali, please surrender, but to no avail. The Romans overtook them, whereby 500 Yasharali was being crucified daily. Yasharali was losing the war to the point there, the only thing that was left was the temple. So Yasharali was asked one last time from Titus to surrender because he didn't want to burn the temple. Even though he first started, he stopped. He said, no, I'm not going to do that. But his troops that Titus was commanding wanted to burn it down. So while Titus was sleeping and resting, he heard an outcry and found that his troops would burn the temple anyway. Titus managed to save some of the holy things like the candles, the table of showbread, and all that stuff. But the inner part of the temple, the troops continued to burn it. Not only that, the troops wouldn't even allow the people to escape. People was trying to escape through the back way or whatever way they can. They said, nope. They continued to massacre the Yasharalis, the children of Yasharel. You want to know who was behind it the whole time? Our enemy from the very beginning, from way, way back, the Edomites. They were the troops behind the destruction of Jerusalem. That's right, Edom. We will get where now they did all that, but Edom will get what's coming to them from the Most High Yah, Yahuwah Elohim. You can read that in Psalms 137, verses 1 to 9, Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10 to 15, and even Jeremiah, chapter 51, verses 6 to 11. But the thing is this, we must take care of ourselves first. Now look at these pictures. Do you not see yourselves in this? On the top, you got this whole movie thing about violence, promoting it left and right. You got people here out in the street fighting each other, even the children fighting each other. And here it says here when, I can't remember the actor right now, and it says they're programming us through their horribly exaggerated negative media depiction of us to believe that the fraudulent words about ourselves. This makes us hate and fear each other at the same time, dividing us our ranks, and also makes us more compliant with their white dominance over our lives. He said it's psychological warfare. He got to the point that people say, look, you really want to kill black people? Stop patrolling their ghetto areas. Let them go and kill each other. That's what they're doing. Isn't that what Rome did to us? Our ancestors, they said, oh, no way, we're going to retreat back. And while we devise a better plan, we're going to see, we can bring it down, their troops, their people down to a side because they're going to go and kill each other. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It should. But it's not just psychological, it's actually spiritual warfare. Why? Because a lot of us are not in the Word. A lot of us are not close to the Most High. We don't realize that the battle we have is not against flesh and blood. It's actually against all wickedness in spiritual high places. So rather than getting the Father's word and getting his understanding and getting out the churches, these people got their own idolatry and they put it up against us. We don't realize when we dream dreams that they basically are beating us in the spiritual world and then it manifests physically. Why? Because we don't care. We'd rather go around protesting and all that stuff. And for what? For what? We need to look how this whole slavery thing began. Slaves. They are the original Australian marched from their lands and sent to concentration camps. And that was in 1890 to 1970. Now you see this movie here with Denzel, and he's reading off a script, but he was basically telling the truth. He said the early white Christians were not trying to save our souls of black people when they converted them to Christianity. This is irrefutable proof because they perceived that we as black people didn't have souls and the heavens was for white people only. Real reason why they converted black to Christianity was to ingrain the belief of white God into the minds of black people. These made blacks more compliant with white dominance over their lives. You see all these three phases of slavery? Why? Because America is addicted to it. They depend on the slave workforce, slave labor. They have never been a time in this whole entire history of the United States of America where slavery has not existed. They cannot do without it. They built their country, their nation, as they call it, off slave labor. And what else do we do? Oh, let me get into the names. See a little bit of the names they call us. Some of the names they call and still call us by our own oppressors. We need not to call each other by these names or any other disrespectful name. It is disrespectful not only to your brother or sister, but it's disrespectful to the Most High. He don't appreciate you calling us each other all these names. I don't care if you want to call, even if you think I'm a conspiracy theorist, say no, don't even do that. Don't even do it. If you don't agree with me or your other fellow brother and sister, just say, you know what? I respectfully agree to disagree. Remember, he is in us as we are in him. So we are spiritually connected. So be careful. Because like I say in 1 John chapter 4, verse 20, if a man say, I love Yah and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he that loves not his brother whom he has seen, how can he love Yah whom he hath not seen? In other words, he said, how can you love me and you ain't never seen me, but you can hate somebody you see every time you turn around and have no reason with hatred in your heart? Because none of us are perfect in his sight. We all fall short of his glory, and we always say that. But we need to understand that. We need to stand there and stand down. And don't be too proud to realize I'm not at fault. I was at fault. It's just like everybody else. Now, these are some of the other ways in which slavery and dependence on the oppressors have always happened. I'm sure a lot of you are very familiar with it. Welfare system, child welfare system. It says here, if you came with the preconceptions about the purpose of the child welfare system, you would have to conclude that it is an institution designed to monitor, regulate, and punish poor families of color. That's what they call us now, color folks. Yeah, so I said, little did Martin Luther King Jr. know that the Democrats would use the devices of food stamps, cell phone, welfare, and more to enslave a race for political gain. And it's not just the Democrats. It's all about politics. We went from forced slavery to economic slavery. And when they took our men, our headship, they left us as single black mothers with children. Oh, look at them poor folks. And then here's some other ways they did it, that we depend on them. Shopping for their food when we can grow our own. We came from a strong people of farmers. We know how to grow our own. We was not just warriors. We was able to take care of ourselves. The Father gave us the ability, the gift to be able to do that. But what do? We want to make it easier. Shop in stores. We go online if we don't feel like going out the store. We deal with people for our hair when we got nice hair, because all of a sudden we don't like how we look. Why? And they always, when you go into the store, they're always looking. Oh, here come a nigga coming out. And then they go look around and they follow you. And I know everybody must have had, at one time or another, when somebody was followed by security in a store. I know everybody did. Go and get your nails done by some Asian person who's talking crap. You thinking they talking nice thing, they smiling at you while they calling you everything but the Son of the Most High. Why? They know you don't understand that babbleness. Then they want to go and campaign for your vote. We need your vote. Come on, black folks. Come on, stupid niggas. Go vote for me. I'll do for you. And then next thing you know, just like our ancestors in the past down here at the bottom, see on the top, doing the same thing, want equality, and it ain't happening. Why? It ain't going to happen. People that hate you, it's not going to give you no equality. They not. Now, Yahuwah has warned you of your enemy and planning your demise, and none of us have any excuses. See the warning sign. Why are you trying to give us all these vaccinations when they don't even vaccinate their own children? See this old sculpture here? This is what they do to us way back when. I wouldn't be surprised if they're doing it now. If it ain't vaccination, it's abusing us in all kinds of ways. Then they say, oh, join the military. Do your duty to serve the country. For what? For a country that did nothing for me. Because they said, we're going to find some ways to kill you. Oh, yes, we're going to do that. We're going to make it look like an accident. Or we scared for our lives. That's their favorite excuse. Are you tired yet? Are you tired? Are you waiting? Are you waiting? Just because your sisters and your brothers go through this, you see their sisters going through it, just because you haven't gone through it? Or are you going to wait until you go through it and then say, yeah, it's inequality? No, you don't wait until it happens to you. You do it while it happened to somebody else. Even though we don't want it to happen to nobody else. But when it does, you stand for your brother and your sister. It should be nothing we should not be able to do. If we got to get advice from the Father, which we should, He would have told where we would have already won every battle thus far. Not a few of us, but all of us, or most of us. Are you dying to be accepted by people who hate you so much for so long? Look at these people. They are no longer with us, which means they don't care about the young, the old, and anybody in between. Man, woman, child, it don't matter. They said, we got to get rid of all these people. And they don't care. And they find every means to do it. They don't care that we cry over our love brothers and sisters who are no longer. They don't care. You cry and boo-hoo and they look at you like, yeah, we're going to pretend to care. You know, they do things to just say, yo, get out of our ear with all the nonsense. We just want to continue killing y'all. But you have to look at it that way. So the mistakes we have made as awoken people is we said we have a purpose. We said, oh, we got this movement. We are trying to organize. But we have to wake up these sleeping people first. We have to put the truth in your face so you'll be able to see that, okay, we are brainwashed. Okay, these people are waking. So rather than me get mad, let me go to the Father so you can get the truth about how these white folks lied to us. To know that our history has been the Father's word the whole time. Get off that mental slavery, because the only fool that wants to stay in mental bondage, stay ignorant to the truth and keep in the slave mentality. So if you don't want to be in the slave mentality, you must wake up. Because when you finally awaken to the truth, and it begins to change you, the things that you wonder since you were a child, the questions that you often wonder sometimes, you be like, now I know the answer. Why? Because the Father has told you. Because when you read in 2 Chronicles 7, chapter 7, verse 14, 18, he said, if my people, that's who we are, his people, which are called by my name, call his name, say, Yahuwah my Elohim, come humbly. He said, shall humble themselves and pray and seek his face, seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways. Your wicked ways are the ways in which the oppressor has taught you all this time. He said, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. He's waiting to do for you. Now my eyes shall be open and my ears attent unto the prayer that is made in this place. For now I have chosen and sanctified this house. The house, whose house? The house of Yasharel, his inherited house. That my name may be there forever. And my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. Continuously. And as for you, if you will walk before me as David, your father, he's our ancestors do. Walk and do according to all that I have commanded you, and shall guard my statutes and my judgments, then I will establish the throne of your kingdom, according as I have covenanted with David, your father, saying, there shall not fail you a man to be a ruler in Yasharel. He's waiting to lift you up and exalt you as a ruler, as once our own ancestors were. He's ready to exalt you, bring you higher. Aren't you ready to be like these pictures here? Where a man and a woman is together, a man and a woman is children together, the children come together and pray, the family come together. Why? Because as each family starts coming together little by little, and then come together, well, not just separately, but together, it makes it beautiful. Because we need to understand, we as black people, we got the black buying power. Yes, excuse me. Because black buying power has been projected to reach 1.2, whatever year this was at this year, but as 2020, 1.4 trillion. We went from 1.2 trillion 1 year, and the next year we went to 1.4 trillion. According to a report from the University of Georgia, SEALIG, Center for Economic Growth, that's a 275% growth since 1990. When black buying power was 320 billion, already black consumers represented the largest consumer of color group in the marketplace. The report shows that trend will continue as the country becomes more diverse, driven part by the growth in migration from where? The Caribbean sisters and brothers and Africa itself. African brothers are coming here. You see it for yourself. Because they're younger, on average, black consumers are the trendsetters, the tastemakers for young consumers of all races. According to SEALIG Center, they define Main Street culture and will immense influence over how Americans choose to spend their money. Any marketing campaign targeting millennials must include messages to reach African American youth, notes the Nielsen. Savvy marketers expert has picked up on this and tailored their campaigns to win over the hearts and wallets of black consumers. But understanding black America and how to appeal to them is still a work in progress for many companies. Pearson McNeil says many need a strategy and soon. I think some companies are still figuring it out, honestly, she says, which is why we spend a lot of our time ensuring that our clients are aware of the changing demographics and making them feel comfortable with this information so they know how to figure it out, which they already had. I don't even know how long it's been, but they talking about back up to 2020. We already in 2020. We already in 2020. And if it hadn't been for Corona, we'd probably be breaking records right now, buying everything that in most cases don't even need. Food, we can grow our own food. We can make our own clothes. We know people can do that. But what do? We go out there and go, I want Gucci. I want this. You're not just helping that business. You're helping that name, Gucci. When you're Italian, ain't Italian Rome? Why are you helping Edom? Why are you helping the Edomites to grow their empire? The Father said the tides are supposed to turn when we as Yasharel, children, are supposed to rise up. How are we going to rise up when we still making Edom rich? We ain't got nothing. We ain't got a pot to piss in. We can't be making these evil people rich. We cannot keep doing that. They just not trying to take our money. They're trying to take our lives. And we can't afford to be doing that. Look at this. Black consumer power is growing. It's been growing. And for I can see, it's from 2005. That was 15 years ago? For 15 years, if not more. Because when you look at the slavery thing, they built it off the blood and sweat and the backs of our own ancestors that came here. And then turn around and kept doing it. So now we're helping them, renovate the structure and everything and help them uplift their stuff while we're sitting there trying to figure out how we going to pay rent, how we going to do this, and how we going to do that on a daily basis while they living large. And we looking like broke as a joke. Or looking all busted. It's always trying to press somebody. We're supposed to be trying to figure out not just individual, but as together. And say, you know what? This is what you want to do? Why not? What if we stop buying, working, and depending on these nations? Did you know what would happen? These nation economy would collapse before they can set up any new world order, new world currency, one world religion, or whatever they're trying to set up. Now, even though you see corona is out, right? You see it in the case of COVID-19, right? They kill us in the hospitals, senior living facilities, while the rest of us at home, right? They're trying to get us between a rock and a hard place by any means necessary. But these heathen, they will try to get rid of us all. Do your research. If you think about it, they've been doing it for years. But if you want to break them down, stop. Stop depending on their mess. Let's look out and go to the Father so we can get together and grow our own food. You know, somebody grows some fruit over here and I grow some vegetables over there, and my sister or brother over there can make some dresses and do hair, and we help each other out. The Father always provides. Don't fall for it. Stay strong in Yahuwah Elohim. Look what happened. See, Mama, I have to close hair supply. What? Because black women go natural. We don't need their mess. We need all natural stuff. The Father already told us. When you look in them books, He already told us. It means Kwam Yasharali. Let's unite. Kwam Yasharali means rise up, children of Yasharel. We are supposed to rise up and rise above all this and learn from our mistakes. Because look at these sweet children. Millions of black people have been miseducated to serve the agendas of the ruling white elites. Tell us the truth. That's what the children, they tell us the truth so we can change things. So it takes you knowing, understanding, and accepting so you can tell and teach the future generations their true identity and history of being the children of Yasharel. Tell them their creator, Father, Yahuwah Elohim. Tell them of the Son Yahusha, the Ruach HaKodesh. Tell them. Because we can't keep making the mistakes of our ancestors did. They already paid the price. They came here on their slave ship. We can't. We got to say, you know what? From this generation on, we got to stop. We got to stop. And it starts, our tomorrow starts right now. To have a better tomorrow, we got to start making it better today. Stay in the Torah. Those are your instructions. Because you never want to be on the wrong side of righteousness, which is Yahuwah. These 5 books, you're supposed to read them. You're supposed to know them. You're supposed to do them. When you do it, you're walking in the ways of the Most High.